the Community Police Program. Greg also has the needed experience in supervising large workforces and staffs as he did in the private sector. He is asking for your support this November to become the Scott County Sheriff we need now and into the future. Greg McMurray is a lifelong resident of Scott County and thanks you in advance for your support this fall. Paid for by Greg McMurray Sheriff.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
All right, we are back here from a packed house at the Campus Drive-In, again on Kane Street here in Gate City. Of course, we just had Coach Jones and some of the football players come out. I want to say thank you to them. Again, we will be on the air less than 48 hours from now. We'll be at Bullitt Park, again, calling the game, and it should be an exciting one. Union and Gate City, again, at Bullitt Park. Right before they came in, we did want to mention again that Suzanne Moore had broke that record. We don't have the results in tonight. Of course, they were at Natural Tunnel State Park. I also want to say, though, congratulations to the Lady Devil volleyball team. They beat Ridgeview last week, as well as took care of business against Wise Central on Tuesday night. And, again, congratulations to them. Middle school JV team as well as the varsity. I also wanted to mention as well, the Gate City academic team traveled to Blacksburg on Saturday for the Virginia Tech Fall Kickoff Tournament. That's their first official match of the season. Team captain Kaylee Berry, again, we'll have her next week here on the show along with Ross Stokes, Sydney Vaughn, and Peyton Oakes. They play second in their morning bracket, fourth in the playoff bracket, eighth overall out of a 20-team field. Then the other team co-captain Shauna Shepard, Devon Hoover, Hayden Thomas, and Seven Ford finished fourth in the morning bracket and third in the consolation bracket. Teammate Ethan Billups was unable to attend, and individually Stokes was fifth overall, and Shepard finished 15th. Again, this is a team that went nationals last year. It's a lot of programs here at Gate City are doing extremely, extremely well. So, Chris, your initial thoughts from what the guys said. You know, Coach Jones pretty fired up. You know, they really didn't take, the loss. I mean, they took it hard. It was a learning experience. Again,
well, one thing it really strikes me with all the coaches we've talked to this season is they don't mince words and they don't make excuses. They pretty much tell it like it is and they own it. Mm-hmm. I like that out of the coaching staff.
And, again, we want to say thank you to them. Of course, and as we mentioned, outstanding effort. I want to say again, Chris Davidson, Logan Tomlinson, and Kurt Gibson came out with us with Coach Jones. I want to say thank you for them. All righty, so Chris, it is that time. Once again, it's now time for Tweet It or Delete It. Each week we tackle different sports-related topics, and Chris will tell us if he would tweet it out through social media as fact, or after typing it, he would think better of it and delete it.
I'm glad that last week's topics were not done this week with all of these females in here that could basically run me out of town.
Tear you to shreds, especially with Miss Macy next to you there. She could, I've seen her play basketball.
There's no need to listen to last week's coach's show, Macy.
She could go toe-to-toe with Chris. Anyway, so let's talk about this. Again, 5 topics here. Goes across the world of sports. And, again, here we go. First one is, would you tweet this or delete this, Chris? Despite his mistakes in life and baseball, Pete Rose deserves to be in the Major League Hall of Fame. Would you tweet that as fact, or would you delete that?
Absolutely. Tweet it.
Tweet it.
I honestly don't believe that any of Rose's betting directly influenced any Major League Baseball games. I wouldn't even have a problem if it came out that he actually bet on the Reds while he was playing, as long as he was betting on them to win and not throw games. To me, that's a major difference. If anyone from the steroids era can get in, there's no reason Charlie Hustle can't too.
Now, again, I'll have to go back and research a little bit on this, but did he ever bet that the Reds would lose in a game?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
He claimed that there's been no evidence that he ever bet on the Reds either way. He bet on other games.
Right.
That's why, to me, I've been in pools before, football pools, baseball pools. There's no difference.
So you think that's not like insider trading with stocks?
I don't. I mean, he can't control what's happening on the other side of the country.
He can't?
Well, he was good, but I'm not sure he was that good.
All righty.
But before we move on to the next one, Dale Murphy for Hall of Fame. If there's ever been a player that deserves to be in, it's the Murph.
Why do you say that?
Because I wore his number when I played because that was his number.
And I think I've seen some pictures on your Facebook.
Well, yes, I had the
Mr.
opportunity to meet him one time. Fantastic guy. He's basically, 4 home runs shy of the automatic number, but yet he has 3 Golden Gloves, MVP, back-to-back seasons. He has better numbers than Gary Carter, who's in. Put the man in the Hall of Fame.
Now he played on some of those championship teams, correct?
Therein lies the rub of the problem.
No. But no, if you would have taken him, again, I mean, I know you would, can't do this, but if you'd put him on those teams, those championship NL East team, they win 16 in a row or something astronomical?
To start at the start of the season, yes.
I wouldn't think that there'd be any question. But again, some of those teams that had those 100-loss seasons. But anyway, again, so Chris, the campaign began here. Hashtag Dale Murphy for
Dale Murphy for HOF.
FOF. There he is. So let's talk about the second thing. Tweet or delete this, Chris. If a basketball player is good enough to be drafted by the NBA, he should be allowed to go directly from high school to the pros. Would you tweet that as fact, or would you delete that?
This kind of ties in with what you asked me a couple of weeks ago about players leaving early from college. I say, though, tweet this.
Okay.
If a player is good enough and the team is willing to take a chance, why shouldn't he? To me, that is much better than tying up a college scholarship for someone who needs the scholarship in order to go to college. If they can do it, do it. That, like I said, that allows someone else deserving to get the college education.
Do you think that a 17, 18-year-old is mature enough, again, with all the things that go on in a professional setting?
Do I think so? No. But if a team's willing to take the chance, I mean, Antonio Brown. They're willing to take a chance on him.
I was going to say, is that your poster child for coming out early? Wow.
I'm saying if a team is willing to take that risk.
See, Chris Carr
take the risk.
Sevier Middle School in Kingsport, who is
coming out. And again, you've managed to dig me into a hole.
Coming out for Antonio Brown.
That is not what I said. I was using him as an example of a team willing to take a risk.
To give another chance?
That I do not agree with. But if the team's willing to shell out the money and take the chance, let them take the chance.
So, please, again, this week's messages, please, make sure you're sending them to Chris, not to me. Okay, so third.
You're completely bending my words again, Joe.
So, I mean, you said you support Antonio. It's okay.
I did not say I support Antonio.
For another
I believe the word I used last week was they were stupid enough to sign him, and we saw how well that worked out.
Well, they got that one game was 4 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. So I guess for $9 million. Anyway, wow.
That comes out to about $2 million and $2.25 million per reception, something like that.
And so that leads into this. Again, the third topic. Again, on a more serious note, those individuals convicted of domestic violence should be banned from all professional sports. Would you tweet that or delete that?
Tweet it. While we're at it, make it the same for any felony. That might make some players pause and think before they do something stupid, and yes, I use the S word again.
So let me ask you this. If someone bounces a bad check, which is a felony, you say no professional sports?
I could not fathom a professional sports player writing a bad check.
Well, I'm just using that as an example. Or tax evasion, or a blue or a white-collar crime.
If they are convicted of a felony, they do not deserve that opportunity.
Wow. So you're saying give Antonio Brown another chance?
I am not saying that.
Just kidding. All right.
I'm saying, but in fairness, he's not been convicted yet.
He's not. So anyway, again, that legal matter going on. Anyway, so we'll get off Antonio Brown right quick.
I just immediately went back to some of the Dallas Cowboy players repeatedly getting drug arrests repeatedly.
Fourth and fifth and sixth.
Fourth and fifth times, and there's just I have no use for that.
Yes, indeed. All right, so let's go.
You're making my blood pressure go up.
The fourth topic tonight on Tweet It or Delete It. If the Tennessee Volunteers continue to be uncompetitive in the SEC this year, Coach Pruitt's coaching contract should be terminated. Would you tweet that as fact or would you delete that?
Absolutely, 100%. Delete that. Don't even bother to type that.
Wow.
UT has now wasted a decade with this revolving door in the head coaching position. Sooner or later, they've got to stick it out. Pruitt at least needs the chance to show what he can do with his own players. Right now, he's making do with someone else's mess. Give the man a few seasons. Then if he's not turned it around, yes, replace him. But we cannot keep 1 or 2 seasons and someone new. 1 or 2 seasons, someone new.
So this is his second season.
Yes.
And their SEC record last year was?
What, they have 2 wins?
Did they beat anybody? They did beat somebody in the
Beat
SEC.
Auburn, beat Kentucky.
Okay. So they were 2-6. This year, of course, they opened up with that 28-point loss to Florida in a game that, again, they weren't.
Oh, they just looked awful.
It wasn't competitive. So,
But, last season, if my math is correct, he had some players that were recruited when Jones was first got there. Now he's got the players kind of when things were starting to fall off for Jones. So let him get his own players in and then see what he does.
how many years would you give a coach?
Probably 4 or 5 more.
You know, we mentioned it a few weeks ago on Tweet It or Delete It. You know, talking about coaching contracts and the portal. I think that a school, if you're going to give a coach 5-year contract, you should honor the 5, give him the 5. If you're going to give him 3, that's fine. Just going into it knowing, hey, I've got 3 years to turn this around, or I've got 4 years, or I've got 5 years. And that pressure shouldn't be,
Well, he at least needs the players that he recruited last year that are now freshmen, he needs the opportunity to get 4 years with them, at least.
Will they wait?
I'm afraid they won't, but they need to.
Well, with Coach Fulmer in the AD position, I wonder if he'll give him a little more of a rope than some other. That's something too. It's a unique situation for the University of Tennessee. They've got the athletic director, which was a Tennessee grad, a Tennessee hero, if you will. He came up. He was a coach. So a lot of these ADs at programs don't have any ties to the school. They don't have a affiliation, and as they move forward, they cut bait pretty quick. So I wonder if he'll give him a little more.
We'll find out.
All righty, so fifth, tweet it or delete it. It's kind of a topic that's starting to resurface a little bit. Even though it is a sports tradition, the playing of the national anthem should no longer take place out of respect for all viewpoints. Chris, would you tweet that or would you delete that?
I'm going to reply with a question. Joe?
Yeah.
Are you on drugs?
Aspirin, yes.
Well, what is my job away from here?
Well, the one after your regular job, or which job?
For those of you that don't know, I'm a history teacher. There is no way the national anthem should not be played at the start of a game. Thousands of people have died for these athletes to be out there to have the right to get paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. The least these athletes could do is show honor and thanks to the people that have made this possible. I can't even believe this is even up for debate.
And the reason that I brought that back up because with some of the quarterback injuries in the NFL, the Colin Kaepernick topic has started to resurface. And according to his agent, he says that there are 3 teams that have contacted him and that he still has the stance to not stand for the national anthem. So that's why that actually this one, it's starting to bubble back up a little bit.
Belichick, one of those coaches?
No.
Oh. Well, I thought after they took a chance on Antonio Brown.
Well, I mean, you're number 1 receiver. So.
Now you're going to tell people I'm a Colin Kaepernick fan, I suppose.
Well, you have this T-shirt.
I've got the hair.
Oh.
But also, anyone listening is a veteran, thank you. I do stand for the national anthem.
Amen. Yes, and I do as well. All righty, so that's tweeted